The views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the commentators, guest, and host. They do not explicitly or necessarily reflect nor represent the policy or the views held by Tobago Updates or this network. Tobago Updates or this network cannot be held accountable for all or any views expressed during this program.
Hi, good evening and welcome to another edition of Vox Populi with yours truly, Barrington Skippy Thomas. Now I want to start by telling you that this evening's subject matters would include, of course, a number of subject matters that I just want us to, we'll flow with it. Normally I outline it. But tonight I have decided to depart from the outline and then we will flow. But I could promise you that what we would have is a very interesting night. And I want to take a very short break because this is difficult for me to do. This is very difficult for me to do. But tonight, I have to attack the Chief Secretary. Tonight, I have to condemn the Chief Secretary. Tonight, I have to call out the Chief Secretary. Tonight, I have to express my anger because I am angry with the Chief Secretary. And I know it may not do well for me to just start. So, let us take a very short break, and I'll return. And I promise you, I will return with a very scathing attack upon the Chief Secretary. Some of you may not be comfortable, but I am a disciple of Swami Vivekananda, who have said in his many Vedics, "Do your duty, O Arjuna, equippose to success or failure, and that duty becomes your yoga." Tonight I have a yoga to perform upon the Chief Secretary, and I intend to do it whether I am applauded for it or whether I am condemned for doing it. But whatever the repercussions may be, I intend to perform that duty, and that duty is to express my anger and disappointment in the Chief Secretary. We take a break and we return, and when we return, I suspect it would be hell on rough waters.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tapago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tapago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tapago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tapago's at your service.
and we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there, down in Tobago.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the commentators, guest, and host. They do not explicitly or necessarily reflect nor represent the policy or the views held by Tobago Updates or this network. Tobago Updates or this network cannot be held accountable for all or any views expressed during this program.
Good evening and welcome back. The time is now 8:16 p.m. and welcome back. So I said to you before I went for the break that I'm angry with the Chief Secretary. I'm disappointed in the Chief Secretary. I am bitter with the Chief Secretary. And you know why? I met a woman on my way to Tobago this afternoon at the Piarco airport. Now, I have learned from my many long stint in public life. Right, so just forgive me, I want to put a note here so I will not forget this note. Is something that must be discussed. Yes, good. Right. So I've learned from my very long stint in public life. Not everything you want to listen to, and not everything you must hear, and not everything you must swallow. Plenty of you would not know what that means, but that is them old people that say there is plenty story I tell you there. Plenty story I tell you there. And something was told to me this evening at the airport, and I did some inquiries. And so you know I'm angry with Farley. You know I'm vexed with Farley. I'm not his father, so I can't cut his tail. But you know I'm disappointed with Farley. You get the impression that when you listen to those who speak loudly and vigorously against this Farley Chavez administration, you get the impression from them, right? Hold on. Right. I'm not sure what's happening here, but I kind of, you know, them thing here does what. But you get the impression that this TV, I see the people here, Jenny and Nana, is people I have tremendous respect for. And I'll do nothing, absolutely nothing, to compromise the integrity of the operation. But there's a word I wanted to use. So I have to dig very deep now into my grammar, of which is very shallow. So I have to dig deep into my shallow grammar pool to find a word. But you get the impression as if these people, when you listen to their critics and you listen to every Tom, Dick, Harry, Lal, their sister-in-law and their cousin-in-law or the Sarabai, you get the impression that Farley and Faith and Zia and Was and Sonny and it's really another group of people I know, you know. And I call names like Megan. You get the impression that these people are. So I went into my grammar pool. What I just did there, you will never believe, that was dipping into my grammar pool. That they are defecating on themselves in the performance of executing their roles and functions. I'm really not happy using all those fancy words, but I am on a set, I'm in an institution that requires I do that. Now, if you meet me out on Gardenside Street or on the Esplanade, or right up there on the corner between the two bars, you would know what I really want to say. So, you get the impression that these people, Farley and the team, they just wasting time and engaging in defecation, and very often it falls on themselves. A woman met me in Piarco Airport today with tremendous emotions and significant tears that when they evicted them and displaced them from the Crown Point area where the airport is being built, they were under tremendous pressure, emotional, psychological, financial, economical, and social. And she told me, Farley came down there and he said, a quoting her, she said, Farley came down there, quote, not under my watch, not under my watch. There'll be no vagrancy issue in Tobago. And he took the decision, Farley that is, to manage that situation down there himself. And they had to be moved, of course, to Cove and to Shervan. Cove, Shervan and so. And the P&M, I'm not afraid to call them out, I'm not afraid to call them out. And I'm fed up, tell all you. Well, I've been told by some members in my church I must not say it anymore. But before they told me, some members in my church told me that, Pandey's mantra was, he and the lion. Mine was, my name is Christopher. I am the son of Lucifer and a real bad. And me a joking that. And me afraid to dead, I was born in a graveyard. But I've been told by my church, don't say that anymore. So I will not say that anymore. But I'm going to tell you, me afraid them because me afraid the P&M, me afraid the agents, and me afraid the nasty work. Because as simple as you see me here, don't afraid for me. Don't afraid for me. I grew up on roast corn and stew scorpion. So don't afraid for me. Don't afraid for me. And it's hell on rough waters down there for the people, you know. It's hell on tumultuous waters down there for the people, you know. And she said, Farley came in. And the woman said, Farley came in like a boss. And he called them together. Say if you could pay $2,000 a month, paid. You could pay $2 a month, paid. You could pay $22 a month, paid. Paid. You will all enter various, well, of course, varied and various contracts. At the end of the day, make sure it's generational property. So you go down to generation. But when your last cent and dollar is paid, your generation owns it. Now, Tobago, anyhow, let me continue and I'll tell you why I vexed with him and why I damn vexed with him. And then she said they moved them to the locations. The woman told me that. And I did some inquiries. That's why I became late. Because I did my investigation. I didn't want to come and parrot or repeat what she said. I wanted to do some investigations to confirm it. And she said they took them to Cove, they took them to Shervan and other places. When they went in Cove and Shervan, those who were large and in charge, they wanted to put them down in the back. You ever watch White Clothes? Well, I have washed white clothes before. And I washed white clothes by my sister Pinky in Bethel. I want the best white clothes washer. And after I finish wash my white clothes with bleach and thing, I put, you had the big thing and you put it out there, you spread them. Well, not spread them, you drop them. So then blue soap and then you drop them to get some sun and so. And I did all of that. And when I was finished with that, it was time to rinse them out and time to hang them up. Clearly, I got the method wrong. And Pinky said, hey, them clothes enough for the front line. Hang them down the back. There were people that the central government, the PNM I'm speaking about, have undertaken and committed the frontline properties to. And so, the people from the airport project, to whom the area was earmarked to remobilize them and so, and relocate them and so. Imagine that, even in a tragedy, the PNM intended to run a corruption, a racket, a scheme, a nepotic exercise. So they identify the place, but they also identify their supporters, their friends, their people, their Macomé, their compare, their Sarabai and so, that they intend to put in the high-end front properties and so. And vagrantize. If my friend Richard Norrie, with whom I've done a show, a leading show where we have won the surveys with 98% of the listenership, and that is a very high mark. And we have done, me and Richard Norrie on Power 102 have won 98% of the share market of listeners and so. And we have done that for something like about 17 years together. And that is a very success story by itself. But I'm making the point to say that these people identify their own. So they identify the property, know who they want to put there, but they set up the front line for business and luxury and big shotism. So when I said they wanted to vagrantize the people from the Crown Point Peninsula, Richard Norrie, hearing the word vagrantize, would have said, Thomas, that's a new word you created again. So I created that word. But the Farley, we Salfish, our chief secretary, this member of the THA for Speyside Lands for me, he intervened. And the woman told me he came there in person as chief secretary and he mashed up the parry. He mashed up the parry and he brought justice, he brought comfort, he brought succor, he brought strength, he brought defense to the people who were destined by Colm Imbert and others to become destitute and mendicant. And our chief secretary. But you know why so you will say what? If all of that happened, I imagine you all will be saying, so if all of that happened, what the hell you vex with the damn man for, Skippy? You know I vexed with him? He went down there and he did it on his own. So it is clear to me that Farley is a student of a well-known verdict. The heights that great men achieved and kept were not caught by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, kept toiling onwards through the night. And then that made me understand when he made, Farley that is, made the recent statement that sometimes he feels lonely. You all remember that? You all remember that, or I'm making it up? I want you all to tell me, if I'm making it up. The chief secretary said, he said sometimes he feels lonely. Because when he have these battles to fight, and very often when he looks back, he sees no one and nobody. So yes, I started by saying I'm angry with him. I started by saying I'm vexed with him. I started by saying, I'm going to chastise him. And I said, oh, and you know why? Let me make it absolutely clear here tonight. Chief Secretary, I suspect. Now, I am not prepared to speak for, I'm not prepared to say half of Tobago, all of Tobago. Because let me tell you something, Chief Secretary. The Bible says the heart of men is desperately wicked and deceitful. But I could tell you, that work you took upon your shoulder, and you do it when no one is watching, and you suspect no one is listening, and you are out there and doing it quietly but effectively in the interest of your people, while that is noble, Chief Secretary, that is wrong. Because, Chief Secretary, you are not leading a coup. You won a mandate, Chief Secretary. And so, Chief Secretary, when you make and take these decisions in the interests of the downtrodden, the mendicant, the oppressed, and the disadvantaged, and the abused, in this here, your space in which you are king, emperor, and lord, let us, the people of Tobago, know, so that we would be able to defend you with every sword and protect you with all our shields. The woman was at tears, and so I came to Tobago and I decided to make some inquiry in the peninsula. One woman told me, says, Skippy, NIDCO is advantaging us because the minister say nothing for them. We not pay nobody with RPO. We pay their ancestors already, and it's turmoil and chaos down there. One woman called me aside and said, don't call me name, and don't say I say, but the Chief Secretary bring up lawyers for we. Bring up lawyers for we to fight NIDCO, to fight the Ministry of Finance, to fight all of them who are pressing we with regard to compensation and these matters. Why am I vexed with Farley? Nobody knows this story. So, Chief Secretary, you are not alone. You have our support on this island. Lift your head. Lift your chin, brace back your shoulders, and do what you have to do in the interest of the downtrodden, the advantaged, and the mendicant. And be assured you have the support of all and sundry here in Tobago, except people like Ansel Dennis and Gavin Walters. Gavin Walters is who I now turn to. But before I go exclusively to Mr. Gavin Walters, I would make the point to tell the Chief Secretary, the time have come. Launching your party is one. Launching your party is one. Getting the party activated and engaged in meaningful and significant political work is another. That is another. And if you engage your party in significant and meaningful political work, then half your worries have been, Chief Secretary, half your worries have been mitigated. Because I suspect that you, Chief Secretary, wants to deal with your political affairs at a level of great magnanism. You want to deal with it at a level where you're operating beyond reproach. So you don't want to be accused of using the THA and office and the executive positions and remits and of the THA to do your politics. That is noble. But I remind you, you didn't leave Speyside and walk in there. It is politics and the process of politics through the people that willed you to be there. And you are, by will of the people, Chief Secretary, you are there and will to be there properly and legitimately, and nobody could take that away. No Tom, Dick, Harry Lal, or some of the horns in your own executive that you have to examine. And I'll make some reference to one very later on in this show. So, Chief Secretary, you need, of course, to launch your party, elect your officers, have your party. So what you would have is the balance. You would have your party to do your political work, and you would be there to do your executive work. And of course, you will be the nexus as a leader, both of the executive and the party, to both. You need to launch your party, Chief Secretary, to create that balance. I want to take a rest from that at this time, except to say, that is why I vex with you. I vex with you because you are you cannot, as Chief Secretary, right? You cannot, as Chief Secretary, operate as if you are Batman in Gotham City. You cannot be doing it quietly, but effectively. I'm not saying you're not effective. The people cry to me, I went to them. One man tell me, oh God, Skippy, I go kill for Farley. Oh, yeah, no, Farley do for when nobody doing it. They even call the name of a politician lawyer who charge them $1 million piece. God, she believe, oh God, the tongue slipping. Because that lawyer believe that those people down there, at minimum, as per the Ministry of Finance valuation, at minimum, each of them down there were entitled to about $4 or $5 million per property. And that lawyer believed she could do it. Oh God. The lawyer, I'm not sure I keep using this gender pronoun, and I'm sorry for that. But that lawyer believed that that lawyer could achieve $1 million profit on everything she said. Everything they settle. I think I don't want to talk about that again. I mean, tongue slipping. Everything they settle. So the people down there are under tremendous stress. But you go down there, Chief, and you go down there as Batman in Gotham City. You operate in privacy, secrecy, but effectively, because they said that. And they said, without you, they told me, Chief Secretary, the people down there told me, Chief Secretary, without you, they said some of them may have died already, or some of them may have killed already. They told me that if it was not for you. So I am not taking away from your effective intervention. I am saying, Chief Secretary, you can't be all of that on your shoulder. Involve all of Tobago, but I understand what the circumstances you're under. You have to be able to manage your role as chief secretary in charge of an executive of a constitutional institution, and you have to be able to balance that with your role as the leader of the political aspirations of the people of Tobago at this time. And the only way you could do that is to not only launch your party chief secretary, but your executive together and get your executive elected, nominated, volunteered, whatever. But get your executive together and get them together quickly, so that you have the both institution as the leading politician to create the balance you need to give you the effectiveness of your work. I want to say no more about this at this time, right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have intended, and that is why I was vexed with him. Don't do it in the dark. Tell we are doing it, so all are we going to stand up down there with our social, legal, constitutional, political, communal, whatever our strength is, we go attach punya to it and stand up with you. And anywhere you go, we are with punyas with you. Let us know you're doing these things. Let us know you're doing these things. Don't have people meeting me in the airport and crying and telling me you're doing these things, while Morris and Dennis and all of them giving the impression that you're sitting down there enjoying the hug and doing nothing. So that's why I vex with you. Let me know these things. Right, so I want to move on. Ladies and gentlemen, people have said all kind of things about me. Oh God, tremendous times, numerous times, plenty times. Only watching at the time because, believe it or not, I intend to be a perfect time manager tonight. Eh? Plenty times, all the time, every time. People have said all kind of things on me. Slanderous, nasty things. And I've always said, listen, I am in public life. And because I'm in public life, public scrutiny is par for the course. And so I've never reacted angrily, negatively, or with anxiety to anything said about me. But I've always guided myself with the words of Swami Vivekananda. You would hear me calling him very often because I am a devotee. Now I'm a follower and a believer in Jesus Christ, but I am a devotee of Swami Vivekananda. And he have said, do your duty, O Arjuna, equipose to success or failure, and that duty becomes your yoga. And I have my yoga to perform. And my yoga to perform is to speak out for the mendicant, the downtrodden, the abused, and the ostracized. I have no other calling. You'll never hear me speaking for the rich. The Chamber of Commerce will speak for them. You'll never hear me speaking out for the business class. Their committees will speak for them. You will never hear me speaking out for the rich and powerful. Their associations will speak for them. I will always speak like Jesus the Christ for the downtrodden, the prisoners, the widow, the orphans, the abused, the ostracized. They are the people I speak for. I speak for nobody else in this country. Absolutely nobody else. And so I'm in public life, and criticism is par for the course. In fact, I'm not saying I am perfect. A neighbor told me one day, hey, I went home, sweet, nice red woman, you know, nice red, sexy woman and thing. So when I meet home, I just park up my vehicle, I put on the alarm, well, disengage the alarm for my property, so the gates, everything is a mechanic, is a kind of assist. I'm not in technology, except they say when you come home, press this. Because if you're driving there and you press this, the security response from Amalgamated, I tell them I want to have nothing to do with Amalgamated Security, so they signed me up with SWAT Security. And I must admit, SWAT Security, I'm very comfortable with them. I'm happy with them. I could go to sleep at night knowing that SWAT Security has my property not only under surveillance, but they provide the service that is paid for and that they offer. In fact, sometimes if I go home and I drink too much juice, I press the panic alarm and thing, to see the response. And you know how much time they made me lie down on the ground with guns and rifles and things pointing to my head until I could prove it's me, So I'm satisfied with SWAT. Because my family is there, I have to train and things, so I have to do what I have to do. And the point I'm making is that, so I'm not beyond reproach. I'm not beyond reproach. I've done wrong things, but I have this real sweet, nice, sexy red neighbor, man. And one day she said, well, she's from Grenada, so her language was not, she did not have the grammatical profundity of the British elites. So she said, hey, Skippy, I want to see a private. So I lit a cigarette, of course, because this sweet, sexy neighbor that always attracted to tell me, I want to see a private. So I showed her, well, I can't say the word on TV, but I showed her a part of my body. I showed her a part of my anatomy that is normally concealed and so. And after showing her, she called the police. So I spent like a whole day and a half at a police station explaining to them. She told me she wanted to see me private. She said, hey, I want to see a private. She was Grenadian and thing. And being to Begonian, the lyrics and so. So I showed her my private. I ended up at a police station. I sat on a bench for a day and a half. Eventually, I was not charged because I think the police were able to decipher that what she really meant is that she wanted to see me privately. And so, and so, I am not beyond reproach. That is the point I am making. I am not beyond reproach. However, not because I am not beyond reproach, I'm going to allow any Tom, Dick, Harry Lal, or Gavin Walters to drag my name through the mud and escape unscathed. And so, I wish to read to you. If we have it, producer, I'll be happy if we could put it up. It might assist me, but I'll read it. So I want to read to you that I have taken a decision. I have taken a decision to sue Gavin, to initiate a defamation action against Gavin Walters. Of course, that defamation action will start with a pre-action protocol. And this is it. Dear Mr. Walters, RE, High Court defamation claim, Barrington Skippy Thomas versus, and Gavin Walters. And I want to tell you, this versus thing, that is a meeting law, that is TV law. In proper law, the V means and. So this would mean Barrington Skippy Thomas and Gavin Walters, right? The V in law really means and. And a lot of people say to me, oh God, Skippy, let's forget Tina and thing. But it's not easy for me to do that because, and let me read this letter and I'll tell you all why I'm saying it's not easy for me to just walk away from Walters with his slander and his defamation and thing, right? And I want to read it and let me think. So this is what I did. I am hiring no lawyer to do this. I'm not hiring nobody to do nothing that I was trained in and all of us were examined upon. I want to tell Gavin Walters, hire the best. Hire the best. Hire the best because I'm bringing the library of the law with you. Come back to me, I want to read it, folks. But thanks, I now see the fancy thing you do there. But I want to read it. Right, so this is what I said to him. Page 1. I act as litigant in person And this letter is written in accordance with the practice direction issued by the Honorable Chief Justice pursuant to the Civil Proceeding Rules 1998 as amended in relation to pre-action protocols. I am a Minister of Religion, an industrial relation consultant, a Bachelor of Laws tutor, a youth counselor, a prominent talk show host, and an aspirant to the bar in Trinidad and Tobago. On the 16th of January 2014, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. All right, so go down to the end. I don't want to repeat those things, and I'll explain why after. But you will say, why I put it up? Because I'm not in monkey business. I'm suing Gavin Walters, and I'm making what I'm doing, I'm putting it in the public domain. And I want to say to Tobago Updates, I have no ill will against Tobago Updates, except to say to Tobago Updates, I realized that Gavin Walters had deleted his comments, but it's already screenshot and the damage was already done. And I realized Tobago Updates take down all the comments, and I suspect all the comments down. So when they try to find back the comments are not all gone. But I will not sue Tobago Updates because I'm satisfied in my mind Tobago Updates was beyond, above, and removed from Gavin Walters and its thing. But I'm suing Gavin Walters, and this is the pre-action protocol letter. I am sure I don't have need to repeat it or read it thoroughly, particularly since it's up, and I'm sure those of you who wish to get it will get it. I'm not taking any lawyer for it. I'm going to sue Gavin Walters. Some people tell me don't have a post-it to piss in a window to throw it through. That might be so, but Gavin Walters will stand up in front the air-conditioned courthouse, in a air-conditioned courtroom, with his hands properly clasped in front of him and tell me sorry on the public record in this country. That is my pre-action protocol letter. I want to tell you, remember I tell you, me ain't taking no lawyer for this, you know. I'm suing him myself. I'm suing him myself. Because I've had enough, but I am not, and I want to make this note before I get on to this, right? I am not, perhaps it's best if I don't repeat his slander. Because if I do, I'll give him an opportunity to say, well, he repeated, so he can't be slanderous. You will never get that. And that is why I put up the letter to taunt you. And I started to read it, thinking that, because I know you're bright lawyers, and then what I tell you, well, if you read out that letter, the action over. You realize I didn't read it out because I decided to taunt you. And you know I'm taunting you? Maliciousness and wickedness is not something I'm going to tolerate. I'm in public life. Criticizing me is par for the course. I'm accustomed to it. The worst have been said about me. I expect the worst to be repeated about me. And that is okay. But, partners, no partners, you have went a bit too further. And you did what you did on public record. And then you think you could delete it to save yourself? No, it's screenshot and the damage is already done. It is my children, it's one of my sons who had asked me, Daddy, what is this about? I linemen and men showing me this. I went to church. Anyhow, big man, you see me? You see why I'm discussing here with you? I want to tell you something. Get the best suit you could find. My advice to you is to wear Ezekiel colors, wear black and white. Because you see that air-conditioned courtroom around Bacalet? And when you're walking, walk with your money. You will have to pay me. I am not going to tolerate that. And this action I've taken against Gavin Walters must be a lesson to all and sundry. All and sundry. If you're loose with your mouth, get ready to be loose with your pocket. If you're loose with your mouth, then be prepared to be loose with your pocket. So all who telling me, oh God, Skippy, don't do that. No, I am a man of mercy, you know. In fact, the quality of mercy with me is not strange. All kind of people that say all kind of things about me. Gavin Walters have been saying things about me for years. But he get an inch. So he decided he could take a nail But I want to tell you something, big man. Nail two things. Nail your savings to my account, or nail a part of your autonomy that is preferred behind the walls in prison. Let's take a break and I'll come back.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported. Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the commentators, guest, and host. They do not explicitly or necessarily reflect nor represent the policy or the views held by Tobago Updates or this network. Tobago Updates or this network cannot be held accountable for all or any views expressed during this program.
Yes, my friends, we are back. And so, let me tell you why I decided to sue Gavin Walters. Gavin Walters is really not the subject matter of this show tonight. But in so far that he said some and have made some defamatory things about me, so convinced he were that they were defamatory, he deleted them, but not before the damage was done and the screenshots were taken, right? As I tell you, people say all kind of things about me before and I left them alone. But when you read his, one of the elements for defamation was not only present, it was glaring. The malice was overflowing. I am very optimistic. I'm going to win this matter. I'm going to win this matter. But there's a bigger picture here, because one of the things he said, and remember, I'm not home, it's not my private life, but one of the things he said is that, and he said in the ordinary meaning of the word, because I don't support the PNM, I'm supposed to be like shite. Yeah, shite is, I want to use the way it would be pronounced in a British court, in the Oxford Dictionary. I'm using the proper legal way of the word. How you want to manage the vernacular, and so is it. And he was terrible. Gavin Walters was terrible. And I said to myself, boy, do you really need another battle? Let's leave Gavin Walters and them to God now. I mean, some people call me and tell me it's Carlton Calendar, not Carlton, Stanford Calendar brother, you know, boy, he's my first cousin. And I told him I heard all of that. And I'm prepared to move on. Gavin Walters must apologize to me. If he doesn't apologize to me, and I want to tell you, some of your PNM lawyer friends will mama guy you for the purpose of the High Court. But just know something, big man. I doing this myself, and I not bringing in my friends and them until this reach the Privy Council level. And when them friends come in, then friends will clash with friends, and friends will go on a scale, and we go see who heavier than who. But I'm going to the end with you with this. And I want to make this point. And I don't get involved in this kind of pettiness, about who are more weight and who could go the longest. This I don't get involved in these things, but these are things I just stay away from. But you're overdoing it. You get an inch and you're taking a nail. And you're doing the wrong thing with the nail. But there's a point I want to make. In this upcoming 2025 election, and I want to tell, I'm not going from memory, right? Trust me. You all forgive me, right? I'm going from memory. I want to tell Sertica Orr. I want to tell Zia Hackett. I want to tell, you all have to help me with these councillors' names. I want to tell these assemblymen. I want to tell, right, so I call Sertica Orr, Zia Hackett. I want to tell, let me start from up and come down. I want to tell Farley. I want to tell Watson Duke. I want to tell Faith B. Israel. And don't let me fool myself. How much of you all have heard nasty things about her? And I'll tell you, let me deal with this. Sometimes you have to break the calabash or break the mold to get a new shape. I want to tell Sonny days are here. I want to tell the boy in Blackrock, Plymouth, that is Nayam or Nyabingi or something. I really know. Some Nyabingi, nothing Nyabingi. I want to tell all of them. I want to tell Notsi, Zia, Hackett, Was, Tate, Ember sang a calypso for power. And I want you all to listen to it. I think Ember's calypso name is MBA for power calypso. Search that and listen to that song. Nana, producer, are we allowed to play like music on this show? I'm not sure how this works. Can you play at least one verse of Embers for power for me, please? As soon as you find it, let me know. So don't get tied up. They are going to war you all. They are going to fight you all. They are going to nasty your names. They are going to slander you. As soon as you get it, let me know. They are going to defame you. They are going to take, I don't know what people that say, they're going to take night and make day for you. Because it is about power. And there's a way to deal with it. Tintin. And a lot of you, I want you all to hear this. I want you all to hear this. Let the PNM, remember they have this vulgar page. And I'm not afraid to share this. I know I've been told who are the people behind that page. And I want to tell that police, but sometimes you don't know if it's a real, it doesn't know when she working and when she not working. Because very often she's either suspended or on a charge, criminally or departmentally. She either suspended, on a charge, criminally or departmentally, but she does always get away. So I want to pronounce nothing about the young woman. I want to pronounce nothing about the young woman, right? So you doesn't know when she had active duty, when she suspended, when she had a charge. You just doesn't know. But she always find a way. She always find a way, and I applaud her for that, right? I'll say nothing else about that, right? I'll say nothing else about that. But what I want to say, that while their design is to spread nastiness, the only way that works is when it's responded to. And when it's responded to, and we create from it a conversation, then somebody have to win the narrative. And it's either the narrative appeal to those who have a high bar mark of nastiness, or those who have a low bar mark of decency. Now, the camera on, right, guys? I don't know if all you're seeing, but you have some gray hair here. Ja, hear me. Ja, hear me. I never thought the day would have come out and get gray. I remember telling Was, Rock, and Taffy were my first cousin. These three set of cousins, and we were sitting down by the road, and I boast into them. Say, boy, all of your gray boy are still black. Well, I've not joined the club, you know. I have no choice. That is my club now. I gray now. And I wear my gray with pride. I wear my gray with pride. The point I'm making is that is age and experience does teach your wisdom. Because many years ago, pound for pound, issue for issue, dirty talk for dirty talk, I would have matched all of them dollar for dollar, moment for moment, minute for minute, and effort for effort. Age bring reason. Age bring reason. Right? Age bring reason, and that reasoning from the age teach you how to respond to these things. I want to say to you, this is the point I'm making. I want to say to the TPP, and I go so far to say to the people in the UNC in Trinidad, do not be entrapped by the PNM and their nastiness on social media. Let them speak to themselves. They put out some piece of nastiness against anybody opposed to them. If it is not true, sue them. Take them before the High Court for defamation. Right? But do not engage in any social media nonsense and propaganda war with them. If you do that, they will win. They will win. And let me tell you one example. Now I see the producer dancing around me, and I know what that means. I know what that means. No, that is okay. That is okay, producer. I respect that. I respect that. I respect that, right? That is okay. I know that means, that I respect that. Oh, you have this song. I know what that means. So, you see, you all have to understand this. You all have to understand this. They want power. And for power, people do many things. Slander your name, nasty your name, say the worst about you. You remember Kamla Prasad Bissessa, hater or lover? Went to Lahore and they had this crime thing, and so it was a successful one. They bring some of the country's former and ace crime performers and so, and they mounted a platform and they said some things about crime and so on and so on. And Rowley and Hines felt the way to diffuse that was to go on a platform and just engage in gutterness. So they went on the platform and they say, Gary name G-string. No, I'm really sorry about this. And I'm sorry for laughing. They removed the seriousness and the serious effect and the debilitating, snowballing agony of crime its nature and its circumstances and so. And all a prime minister of this country had to do with a minister of national security, when murder rates are high, when every citizen in this country is home, wondering if I will be next, if my family will be next, if my children will be next, if my friends will be next, if my neighbors will be next. That is the mood of the country. And in response to a serious crime scourge, we had a prime minister who felt it was okay to rebut all the issues of crime if he just say Gary Griffith is G-string. And then people in Sawa, they laugh, they clapped, they jump up, they say, hey, this is the same prime minister, I want to remind you, that went to Belmont, the same stomping ground Patrick Manning spoke for 33 years, if not 36 years, of his political career. Patrick Manning used to be there before, and Rowley was able to go there and tell the same people there, he from Mason Hall in Tobago and Mason Hall close to Lecato, and Manning pull him out and Manning gets spirit blow. Implied that and implied all of that and so. You know, the same crowd that was there clapping Manning stood up there and clap and tell Rowley, yay! I want you to understand that the PNM has a base, and it is a base of morass, of decadence. It is a base that does not require intellectualism and academia or logic. It is a base that just wants you to give them a name to hate and a name to ridicule, and that is sufficient for them. And so the PNM understands their base. That is their base. Their base does not require logic. I want to repeat for emphasis. Their base does not require intellectualism. Their base does not require discussions on matters of the economy and so. Their base does not require matters related to academia and these serious matters that assist you to make decisions. All their base need is a name to ridicule and a name to hate. You have to understand that. And so that is going to be their campaign. Their campaign is going to single you out for ridicule, for hatred and so. So all Gavin Walters have done was to preempt what is their strategy. But I put his backside in the courthouse so he could know his front side. And so, do not engage them on social media and respond to their gutterness and their nastiness and their filth with tit for tat. If they lie on you, sue them. If not, ignore them. Let their own members read their missive, but we must not repeat it. We who are opposed to them must not repeat it. We must not share it. We must not glorify it. We must not embellish it. Let them speak to themselves because they are in the minority. But when we give them life and we give their nasty missive life, they are louder than us. They are louder than us. I repeat, and I repeat one more time. They are louder than us, so they song more than us. Ignore them. They lie, they say things that are defamatory, sue them, put them in the courthouse. If not, leave them there on social media to talk to themselves. But while they're doing that, talk about the good works of the political party you support. Talk about the good works of Farley and the people in Crown Point. Talk about the good works of the autonomy and so on. And speaking of autonomy, my friends, and I'm really tired, but I just want you to play this. Let me play this song and we'll come back. Because I want to show you, you see, for power, a man will kill his wife for power. A man will sell his wife, even also for power. We'll hear this song and we'll return very shortly.
This one is about power. A great man once said, power tends to corrupt, and absolute power Power is a small word, but it means a lot. It is an obsession that drives you nuts, especially when it's absolute. Power could change a man to a ruthless brute, make him forget all about humanity, lead him rapidly towards tyranny. It is the root of every evil, perpetrated on the feeble, only to dominate his people. Oh, yo. A man will stage a coup, anything he'll do once that he could maneuver me and you. A man will sell his wife, he'll create a strife and he don't care if it should cost life. Politics or sports is the same thing. Once you venture inside the ring, you want to become the only king. T&T is the same, so help me bless. The politics here is one big mess. I'm like trying hard to regain power, while Rowley wish he could be boss forever. They don't care how much lies they tell to we. Once them in control, brother, they happy. They'll make you feel that they're so sincere. This time these bastards, they make care. Is only power play, so beware. All you hear, man just become poorer. Sacrifice their child, they go in. Fight a crocodile. A man will cut.
Yeah. John, and hear me this John, hear me this John here, so I like a real Rastafarian and thing, eh? Yeah, well, yeah, kinda. I think I took a vow. I will lose this eventually, right? But I took a vow, and I just want to explain my Rasta because I could tell you, my mother up in arms. Well, I don't want to tell you about them holy, righteous, white dressing people in church. Well, they want to lynch me. And that is okay. This not leaving my head until I achieve something. Right? Talking about achieve something. You know I was to bring one of me, I saw one of the universities that this would have been, Kaplan. So this Kaplan would be Essex. So the University of Essex send a certificate, a degree for me, eh? Something they can tell you, working, they're getting nothing to do. I not staying home and cry, I not doing that. I not a crier. I'm a badger. I'm not a crier, I'm a badger. So I say, boy, I'm going to just lick up some academic something. So I have a next degree. May I open it? Because I know there are people out there who want to say that fake. So I leave it there with all the seals, with all the, what the post office thing, the name, they'll tell you, come and collect. I leave it there with all of that. And I say, I'll go open it on air. We might do that next week. Don't beat up, right? We go do that next week. I'll go come and opening that degree here on air. That is not a problem. But life is good. Life is sweet. We have to embrace and we have to fight. But I was making the point. So you see for power, a man don't mind spending $500,000 to pay you for defaming your name in the courthouse. Because if he get power for 4 years or 5 years, he could make back 500 times that. That's just the truth. And so we must not engage them in them overlong. They will want to trap us in old talk because we oppose to them. They'll want to trap us in slander talk and Moviland talk and panty talk and who does wear jeans. Listen, those things are stupid talk. Those things are stupid talk. I don't care whether Gary Griffith naked skin, full clothes, or no clothes, or half clothes. I am concerned about we are the right person to eradicate crime. Now, this is a government that they say we want Gary Griffith. He was an army man. He was an army man. When they bring in this, so they bring in the army man. They say, well, the army man like too much guns. I never heard that before. Yeah? Say this army man like too much guns. So they remove the army man and they bring in a policewoman. They say she does pray, but she prayers don't answer. So they don't know what to do next. But I could tell you, they will bring in you all remember I told you something about a deputy commissioner of police whose leave was bought out. The parliament have to meet very soon to deal with confirming him as deputy. Well, when that happens, I'll play back that tape and then you will realize I told you so. So you all will understand what is taking place in this country, right? So let me move on, and I want to make a final point. Now I saw, what's the woman name? It's something about fat. Pig fat, sheep fat, goat fat. Maybe I shouldn't do that because I don't know. All I know is something about fat. And I mean, I'm not sure. It's either some kind of I don't know. It's either lentil fat, split peas fat, or soya fat. I really don't know. But it's some fat, right? And madam, since I don't know your name, I am not defaming you. If you can message me, my number is 704-7350, so I could understand your name, and I'll be able to pronounce it with the perfect grammatical profundity it deserves, right? But I know it's something fat. Remember, she's suggesting that the Chief Secretary Augustine may be engaging in some, what you call it? Dictatorial issues and so. Madam, anyhow, no. You see me? My friend Jack Warner does say, look, you see me? Let me hush my mouth, eh? Let me hush my mouth, eh? Because she said he engaged in some dictatorial tendencies and so. And I saw, what's the boy's name? Morris. I thought, it's somebody I like, you know. I don't like his politics, but Kelvin Morris is somebody I actually like. And I'll beat you around the bush to tell you that. Just somebody I like. You know, just somebody I said, my blood techie. Kelvin Morris is one of those persons. Because when I was special advisor, to the Minister of People and Social Development, Kelvin Morris was personal assistant to Claudia Groom-Duke. And we met, my team, their team, so it was me, my Minister, PS, and some leading technocrats. And we met. Kelvin Morris is there. And if he's not dishonest, and I verily believe he's not dishonest, he could confirm what I'm saying. Vernella Allen Toppin was in that meeting. Whitey was in that meeting too as Vernella Allen Toppin's advisor. And we met in one of the committee rooms at the parliament down there at the, what down their name? The Ryson Road. And the issue was about the Tobago Social Welfare Board, where it's not a THA remit, but it have always been a practice that have not properly settled itself into a convention to allow the THA to nominate the board, and the minister would trump and follow suit. Now that worked well when PNM, so it worked well under London. However, Vernella was Minister of Tobago Affairs, and it was her remit in these circumstances to remit to the cabinet who these people should be in these instances. And so there's a little toss-up and so in it. And I was not disloyal to my colleagues, but I was satisfied that Kelvin Morris raised some very serious issues about Tobago's respect and Tobago's autonomy. And I said to my colleagues sitting right there with me, and I said to them, well, you all listen to me. I am Tobagonian first, an advisor to the Minister of People and Social Development after. And in these circumstances, I would have to recuse myself from this meeting, because if I am invited to remain, or if it is insisted upon I remain in this meeting, my position is going to be on the in support of the Tobago's position. Kelvin Morris was there, and we had several discussions after that. And so he's a little boy I like. He's somebody I like. He always does tell me, say people could say what they want about you, you know. I came in a meeting opposed to you, and we didn't even have our house in order from Tobago, and you made the Tobago case for us against your own colleagues. Eventually we arrive at a decision, and my colleagues agree with me. We must leave that remit to the people of Tobago. I made a very strong argument to my colleagues, and so he was there. I'll never forget that experience. So it's somebody I like. But he's following bad company. He's following bad company. So I heard him, he was one who joined the fat woman to suggest and so that the chief secretary is dictatorial. But the chief secretary merely said, no more, no less, it is not for him to amend any autonomy act. I want to ask you, Tobago, is the chief secretary wrong for saying it's not for him to amend the THA? The chief secretary is not a member of parliament. He's not in the cabinet. I am not aware he has been invited to the cabinet to make a presentation to the cabinet as pursuant to the act, the THA act. I'm not aware that he has been invited to the cabinet to make a presentation to the cabinet, and in those circumstances perhaps convince the cabinet to take up. None of those things were engaged. But he's not a member of parliament. The chief secretary can amend nothing. But what the chief secretary said he can do, and his administration will do, is to identify the anomalies, identify the inconsistencies, identify the disparities between what was sent to Trinidad and what is being presented to the parliament. Now, the both positions here cannot be true. Both cannot be true. Right? The both positions cannot be true. Because the chief secretary said, the prime minister said, what came down from Tobago, he and the cabinet, this is the prime minister, you know, not me. He said they had changed a dot, they had moved a comma, they had changed a letter, they had changed a stanza. Just as he come from Tobago, they presented it to the parliament. In other words, Soseki come is Soseki go. That's what he said. But the chief secretary said, no, there are discrepancies. What was sent down is not as what have been presented. There's some issues with the mileage, right? There's some issues with the mileage, the nautical mileage, and so that surround the island, among other issues. In fact, I'm advised that what the central government may have tinkered with or is offering, but remember they say they touch nothing. Tinkering with is the issue of, then we talk about the sea space. But if you're giving up to high tide of the breaking water, what the hell you want the THA to do? Clean up seaweed when it flow from all over the Atlantic? When you have gas all over Tobago? I don't know. The time have come, Tobago, where we have to stop. We have to come out of our comfort zone and meet in one place, in one space, and discuss this loudly and strongly. Loudly and strongly. Now that is very different to being boisterous of nuisance value and cantankerous. Loudly and strongly doesn't mean the latter. But the time have come when we need to gather in one place with one voice. We must gather sufficiently enough for Farley, our political directorate here, the leader of our political directorate here on this island, to be clear in his mind, he has the support of the people of Tobago. That time must arrive. I suggest it must not be done through any TPP arrangement. It must be done as a Tobago resident/citizenry forum. We must get that done. I propose to put a committee together to do it. I think I've given my number before, and those who may have captured the number know how to get in touch with me. Let us form such a committee and meet in such a space and place where our voices are loud enough to say to the Chief Secretary, you have our support in this matter. Because it is, my understanding after reading what the man have said is that he proposed to identify for Tobagonians the disparities, what was sent and what is now before the Parliament. The Prime Minister is saying they may change a dot, they may change a spot. So who the hell changed it? The postman that they sent it down with? Who changed it? The postwoman? Who changed it? Well, I know it's not me, but who changed it? So the both versions cannot be true. Somebody have to be telling a lie. Next week when we come back, we will discuss who should we believe? Who should we believe in this regard? And more than that, I hope most of you would call me so we could put this massive event together and give some clear support and directive to the Chief Secretary on this issue of autonomy. And so we have that. So I want to end there. I'm really, really tired. I love you. And I know that you love me too. So we'll meet again next week. God being our keeper and all things being equal. Keep the flag flying. Be vigilant. Speak to your children. You know, the scripture said, and teach them of the things of the past. Teach them of the things. So we must teach them about Tobago's struggles. We must teach our children about Tobago's struggles so that eventually we would start the fire and they will be the ones to keep it burning. But Tobago will survive. Tobago must get its fair share. Tobago must get its due just. And Tobago must win this battle of it for eternity. And that is this battle of autonomy. Tobago must win it. I think God has put Farley and his team in place for such a time like this. No, it's not that thou hast come to the kingdom for such a time like this. But I am convinced, and I've never been so convinced before, after listening to that woman who spoke about how Farley came in there like their Batman, swinging all over Gotham, helping them and saving them down there in Cove. In, you know, this whole airport displacement thing in Cove, and he's fighting some battles with WASA. I call on the board of WASA. I know that you are PNM, but you have a Tobagonian on that board, and we must find out who that Tobagonian is on that WASA board. And that Tobagonian must tell us what did he do to mitigate against the abuse WASA have decided to dispense upon the people of Tobago in political retaliation. All of these are matters we will discuss at next week's show, God being our keeper. I love you. Sitaram.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the commentators, guest, and host. They do not explicitly or necessarily reflect nor represent the policy or the views held by Tobago Updates or this network. Tobago Updates or this network cannot be held accountable for all or any views expressed during this program.